Studying monsters was fun, but between the smell of lilacs and whatever shampoo Dana had used, Karl was finding it difficult to focus. Hawk didn't care at all, as he found his nest more comfortable than the lilac bushes were likely to be. But Dana smelled wonderful, and her presence in this private gazebo had Karl more flustered than he would care to admit. But he did his best not to be a creep and work on his studies, carefully making notes about each of the monsters in the area that might be somewhat worthwhile, while memorizing the others in case he ran into them in the future. The more that he knew, the more likely that the sergeant was to relent on her stance of keeping him here for training instead of letting him go outside. Not that the academy wasn't beautiful or well equipped, but Karl had rarely been outside the mining town while he was growing up, and he had seen many kilometers of wilderness on their way here. Just getting to see it with a group would be an adventure, like the camping trip that his father promised on that mythical day off that he never got. The two studied silently for hours, until the sky started to change colors as sunset approached.
Well, that's our cue to go back inside. If we don't get going soon, it will be dark before we get to dinner, and they don't light any of the academy grounds except the paths between buildings.
Dana sighed, annoyed to have to stop her work.
You seemed really into your studies,
Karl noted.
Yeah, the other two are good combat partners, but lousy study partners. They don't take anything seriously and they never stop talking. Just being able to sit and study is a pleasant change.
She agreed. As soon as they packed their things and stood, the bush around the gazebo opened again, allowing them access to the maze. But the moment that they stepped out, the world got incredibly dark, as if the sun had already set an hour ago, and the gazebo had been providing its own light.
Crap, I can't see anything,
Dana muttered.
I think it's just because we're behind the bushes and in a cloud shadow. Once we're back outside, it should be better. But I can see just fine, so if you take my hand, we should be able to make it out,
Karl suggested. Dana's hand bumped his arm, then slid down to clutch at his fingers, and Karl realized just how dark it probably was to anyone else. None of the colors that he could see were ones he had names for, but the light was coming from the grass under their feet. It must be a form of bioluminescence that was outside the normal human range of sight, which meant that the darkness here was likely unnatural. They hadn't mistaken the time. Someone had cast a darkness spell on the maze. Dana's hand was surprisingly soft and warm in his, as Karl led the way back down the path, and her breathing was becoming more frantic as she nearly stumbled in the grass.
Don't worry, I've got you. Just relax and follow my steps,
Karl whispered. Dana moved to his side, so Karl wrapped his arm around her shoulders, not letting go of her hand as they made the last few corners to exit the maze. Their spot hadn't been far in, with little chance of getting lost in the maze itself, but the walk had still been quite the pleasant memory. Dana sighed with relief when they made it back into the fading evening light. But she didn't move to step away from Karl until they heard someone softly laughing nearby, behind one of the trees. Congratulations! You are the first ones out of the maze of romance, and such a cute young couple as well. The person behind the tree laughed.
Maze of romance?
Dana asked softly.
Didn't you know? This is the Academy's most famous makeout spot, thanks to the hidden bushes. We cast a darkness spell over them whenever we get bored to see who comes out as a couple, who leaves their partner behind, and who thinks that darkness blocks sounds and takes things one step further,
the senior classmate explained. Dana blushed, but Karl had a brilliant idea. He leaned over to whisper in her ear.
If everyone believes that we're coming here to make out, nobody will bother our studies. We can be here all night and nobody will try to stop us.
For a second, she actually fell for the trick. Then she looked up at Karl and her cheeks blushed a little darker as she realized what he was actually suggesting. The two of them, alone in the Academy's top spot for couples. It would be a scandal among the Mage class students, and the boys of the warrior classes next to them would certainly whine about her and Karl being together, meaning that the other boys didn't have a chance. But she didn't want any of them, and Karl seemed content to let her actually study, at least most of the night. Dana pushed the thoughts of what they might do during the times they weren't studying and nodded her agreement with his plan.
Tomorrow is an off day. We can come back after breakfast to study.
She whispered back.
In that case, I will pack lunch.
The two of them turned to leave, just as the sound of two people arguing came from near the exit of the maze. Whatever couple was coming out next was not happy with each other. But neither Karl nor Dana was interested in other students' drama tonight. They didn't even notice that they were still holding hands until Dana turned toward her unit in the dormitory and was briefly pulled back by her grip.
Sorry, I forgot. I will see you in the morning,
she stammered, then ran down the hall to her room.
Hey, amazing viewers, it's Karl here. Thanks for sticking with us. By the time of the release of this video, only 13% of our viewers have joined the party by subscribing, and 87% of you might miss out on our next mind-blowing video. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join the exclusive club.